Well, I have to say, this is a great thing, Donald Trump. How are you, sir?
Hello, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. It's a pleasure. I'm going to tell you something. I've been reading some of the things you've been saying.
Right.
They're very solid. I mean, you're concerned about the future of the country with this president. You're worried about the budget. Go ahead. What do you think of the State of the Union speech?
Well, I think it was a class warfare speech. It was a popular speech. It's hard for the Republicans to do much about it unless they really get their act together. I'm a Republican, as you know, and I just hate to see what's happening with the Republicans because they just don't seem to be negotiators. They don't seem to get it, and they have to get going quickly because he's really playing class warfare. He's really playing the popular stuff, and that's hard to beat unless you're really good. And so far, as you know better than anybody, I mean, we just had an election that should have been won easily. And while Mitt Romney's a very nice guy, he just didn't resonate. There was just people didn't get it. They didn't go out and vote. And, you know, a lot of Republicans didn't go out and vote, Mark, which was surprising to me because you would have assumed they would have been out in droves, and a lot of them just stayed home. So he never really caught on, and that was sad because that was an election that definitely should have been won.
You know, your earlier point, the Republicans need to negotiate better. I mean, what do you make of this? They make statements publicly, they reveal their hands, they draw a line, and then they immediately back off. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, take a look at what happened a few weeks ago where they increased taxes, and everyone said, oh, well, and this is basic 101 negotiation, and I knew this was going to happen. I said it was going to happen. They increased taxes, and they thought that would be the end of it. Well, the day after they increased the taxes, then as you know, Nancy Pelosi and others came back, and they said, no, we want more increases. Now, the deal, I assume, was supposed to be they were going to increase taxes and then go for spending cuts. Well, immediately upon increasing the taxes, right after that took place, the following day, Nancy Pelosi and others said, no, we want more taxes. So they're just getting eaten alive at the negotiating table, and you know it's very interesting because I know your show very well. I know you very well just from listening all the time, and I have to tell you, Mark, that what's going on with immigration is incredible because of the 11 million people in this country. I'm not saying something shouldn't be done, but what they're doing is the Republicans are just sort of opening up their arms, and of those 11 million people, there won't be one Republican vote. So they better get used to it. You know, they're talking about the odds are turning against them in terms of population. Well, if every single person that they're going to freely allow into the country with a very soft policy, and I'm not saying something shouldn't be done, but every one of those people is voting Democratic. And it doesn't matter if they go to the lead, if they take the lead, if they force passage, those folks are voting Democratic.
And you know, Donald Trump, the evidence proves you right. I mean, even after Reagan signed an amnesty, the next election, Bush 41, he only got 30% of that vote.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the evidence is clear.
Republican. There's no way they're going Republican. It wouldn't even matter. And you just said it best. As Reagan passed amnesty, what could be better than that? They still went the other direction. So I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent, but I would say that they will get, and by the way, 30% is a high number compared to the numbers you're talking about. So I watched last night as Senator McCain and everybody were jumping up and down, applauding. I never saw him move so fast. Nice guy, but he jumped up and was applauding as soon as the immigration became a part of the discussion, a part of the speech. And I'm saying, it's sort of sad because they're jumping up and down, and every time they move, they just seem to be out-negotiated. And immigration will be the next thing based on what I'm watching.
By the way, Donald Trump, it was the least watched State of the Union since 2000. Are you surprised? I mean, it went on for an hour. I mean, it's like a Castro-like cadence and on and on and on,
No, I'm not surprised at all. I think I found it hard to watch, and I wasn't at all surprised. And then I watched Senator Rubio after that. No, but I was not surprised at all.
Now, by the way, you and I have something else in common, and that is we embrace the Tea Party movement. We know in 2010 the Tea Party won the House of Representatives for the Republicans. Now they're under attack by, of all people, Karl Rove. What do you think of that?
Well, it was really Karl Rove who gave us Obama, because say what you want about Bush, and I've never been a big Bush fan, as you probably know very well.
Right.
And you haven't either, by the way, but I have never been a big Bush fan. because things that he did were, obviously not so good. And it would have been very hard for Abraham Lincoln to win the election at that point because of what took place. And, Karl Rove was sitting right there. He was right at the controls. So the thing that really bothers me, however, he raised $400 million, spent $400 million on fighting Democrats, didn't win a race, didn't do well in any races, and just took $400 million and threw it out the window. And if you look, and I think this is incredible, Mark, to be honest, but I looked at the ads that they made, and this last ad, which should have never been made because they've already made her a rock star, they made an ad on Ashley Judd. Instead of not saying anything, now she's at the forefront of running for office. Mm-hmm. They made an ad. They took her in her absolute prime. They made her look great, most beautiful pictures of her I've ever seen. They had her speaking about our brilliant president, President Obama. And what they did basically is they made her look great and they made Obama look great. And this was an ad. And that's why $400 million was wasted. They do the worst ads I have ever seen, ever. And the Ashley Judd, now you have to watch it. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
But if you see it, beautiful pictures of Ashley Judd. And then they have her speaking about how incredible and brilliant President Obama is. This is their ad. And I don't get it. I just don't get it. But they took $400 million of money that people put up to fight, and they made the worst ads I've ever seen. So, I'm not a big Karl Rove fan.
Mm-hmm. And, in 2006, they lost the Senate and the House when Rove was in charge.
Right.
They haven't gotten it back except in 2010, thanks to the Tea Party. And then he goes on Fox, and he claims to have been the director of the 1980 Reagan campaign in Texas. And all these Reagan people who were involved, and I say, wait a minute, he wasn't the director of the 1980 campaign. So why is he puffing up his resume?
Well, I guess he's trying to do something and trying to pretend somebody that he's not. He was horrendous during the election, made tremendously bad calls. I never quite understood. I was going to say that we certainly hoped that Romney was going to win, but a lot of evidence pointed against that. And I watched him, and I watched Dick Morris, who's a friend of mine, but I watched Dick get out there and say, it's going to be like a total landslide. And I'm saying, where is he coming from? How does this happen?
Right.
Because, if anything, it was going to be a close election, and I thought, frankly, because of the storm and other reasons, I really thought Obama would have the advantage. Also, a sitting president where you can hand out lots of goodies just prior to the election to various cities and towns and states, and which is what he did. But I didn't understand, and I looked at Karl Rove, and I just think he's one of the most overrated people in politics.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know, as you point out, in the last election, I think he won 1.3% of the elections he was involved in. I would say to the wealthy donors out there, why do you keep donating to him? Why don't you donate to all these groups that are actually grassroots, that actually are effective, that are actually out there fighting? Don't you agree with that?
Well, he's got a forum on Fox, and I'm a big Roger Ailes fan, and I'm a big Fox fan, but they do give him a forum. They give me a forum also, in all fairness, so, who am I to complain? But he's got a big forum on Fox, and I guess maybe without that he would have nothing going, because he really made a fool out of himself in this last election. Not only the way he reacted, but also, I think most importantly, just taking $400 million and throwing it right out the window, right down the drain. So if the Republicans are going to win, they're going to have to break away from the Karl Roves of the world and, frankly, get more involved. The Tea Party, these people are great. I've done some speeches in front of the Tea Party. They are great Americans. They love this country. They work so hard, and they have been so mistreated by the liberal press and the liberal media. They have been just so mistreated and made to look so bad. And I could go a lot further than that, but I won't even say it, what they've done to the Tea Party. And yet, you know what? The Tea Party will be around, I think, for a long time and only get stronger. And I just don't think that number one, they're not given proper credit. And number two, they truly are not treated with proper respect. And then when I see Karl Rove go and demean the Tea Party, and after what he did with his lousy record, I just was very angry. And I have @RealDonaldTrump. It's one of the big Twitter accounts anywhere.
Oh, it sure is.
And it's got millions and millions of people, and I have a lot of fun with it, but I have fun because I'm trying to do something good. And I let people know that Karl Rove is bad news for the Republican Party, and when he went after the Tea Party, I let him have it.
Yes, you did. I'm going to tell you something. I'm extremely impressed with what you're doing. Extremely impressed with what you're doing. You know, a year or two ago when you were thinking third party, I was pretty hot about that.
Yes,
but I'm going to tell you.
Yes, you were. I remember well. I didn't like the idea of third party because, you know, unfortunately, if I would have done it, it would have taken tremendous away from Romney. In the end, it wouldn't have mattered because he lost, whether he lost by 3 points or 20 points. But I didn't love it. I never liked the idea of it. But I'll tell you what, if the Republicans aren't smart, somebody will do a third party. And it's going to be very hard for the Republicans to win. That's why I didn't like it. It's going to be very hard for the Republicans to win if that happens. But you did go after me. There's no question about that, Mark.
Yeah, there's no question. And you said, hey, look, and you couldn't have been nicer to me, by the way.
Well,
we had a nice little chat, and you corrected me on something, and it was very polite of you.
Well,
all right, I want to get to this, because my daughter will kill me if I don't get to this.
Okay.
She loves The Apprentice. You've got the All-Star And by the way, I like it, too. I'm going to really start watching it. You know, I don't watch a lot of TV, so I'm going to start watching All-Star Celebrity on NBC.
Right.
When does it start? Tell us about it.
It starts on March 3rd, which is Sunday. It's the 13th season, 10 years. Can you believe this? 10 years. When it originally came on, nobody, you know, they all said, well, first of all, 96% of the shows that go on television don't make it. And there's never been a business-oriented show that's made it in prime time up until that point. And so I was told by people it could never make it. Well, it actually became the number one show on television, went to number one many evenings, and to this day it's just a tremendous success. One of the top shows of the week, one of the top shows on Sunday night. And it's going to be a fantastic season. We have some incredible people: Trace Atkins, LaToya Jackson, Dennis Rodman. And what we've done is we've brought back some of the greatest characters that we've had. And it'll be 2 hours. It starts on Sunday night, and that's on March 3rd. And I suspect it's going to be a great success, as it has been. I hope so. But it's a really good season.
Well, I look forward to watching it. You know what? Maybe you could do one with talk radio hosts. Nah, you wouldn't get any ratings.
Well, I think you'd
forget
do fine.
that.
I think you'd do very well. You might even win.
Listen. No. I like being in control. If I'm there, you're going to scare the crap out of me.
Well,
so,
I don't think so. I don't think a lot of people scare you, actually, Mark, and you really do, and you have a great point of view, and fortunately there are some people like you. There aren't too many.
Well, God bless you, my friend. I'll tell you what, come back. I'd love to have you.
Anytime you want, and you just have a great show, and I will speak to you soon, and I'm always listening.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate
have a good time,
that.
Mark. Thanks a lot.
You too. Donald Trump. See that, folks? Very solid, very conservative, to the right of the Republican establishment. Strong supporter of the Tea Party. I'm telling you, I've been watching this. I've been listening. People have been sending me his tweets. Now I take a look at them. Very, very impressive. I'm telling you now, I was one of his biggest critics. By the way, I didn't personally attack the man, but I was one of his, well, maybe I did, but I was one of his biggest critics. Now I'm very impressed. You heard him.